Um, anyway, I thought I'd move this laptop in a little bit different place because this is when the glare hits. But anytime you have this dark background shit, it reflects everything. Yes, I could get one of those platforms where I wouldn't have to use a camera and all that, but they're generally, you got to pay a subscription to have any of the bells and whistles, and they're not particularly user friendly, as I've said before. So if you don't like my production values, well, that's just the way it is. But anyway, there's just a few thoughts I've had this week, and I'm telling you right now, Biden better do something, not just about inflation, but about the obscene gas prices at the pump. And we know, yes, it could be the Ukraine thing. It has an impact. And yes, there's things to do with the supply chain, you know, as outgrowth of COVID and all this. But, you know, they're gouging. We've seen this before, where the gas prices start skyrocketing right before an election. They deliberately gouge in order to influence the vote, in favor of Republicans, of course. And then, right after the election, the prices start going down. So I've been, again, this is about a week out before my scheduled trip to Idaho, and I do plan to go. I'm at least going to rent the car, and it's going to cost me probably $700 for 1 week, including the deposit. And then the gas, oh Jesus, but the gas ain't gonna go down any further in the foreseeable future. So I thought, well, I better, if I'm gonna do this, I better do it now. And then, you know, it's hovering around $5 a gallon, or even more than that. I heard someplace in Southern California is even at $10 a gallon, not an hour, a gallon. And my thing is, if my gas tank in my car is at a half a tank, it's going to get filled up. I'm not going to go clear to a quarter tank anymore. I'm going to go at least a half a tank. And that way it's not breaking the bank. And today it cost me $33. And with summer break, and I'm only going to do 2 weeks of summer school, because I want to have some time to decompress before next year, I'm not going to have much in the way of money to tide me over. And the dot between losing Duffy, that was $2,000. Having my car repaired last year was $1,200. It's going to be hard to bring that money back in. And then this trip's going to cost me at least $1,000. So, anyway, so much for that. I never bothered to watch the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. I never bothered to watch it. But you know, what I've read about it, it's pretty obvious that it was a frivolous lawsuit, especially when it was already tried in her favor in the UK. And apparently in the UK, as they note, I think this author here in this article notes that, and I copied and pasted it to Word. So that's why it looks like that. Oh God, would you shut up? Thank you, Molly. Just please. Anyway, the jury or judge there heard evidence that was not allowed in the U.S. trial. And no judge should have ever allowed that case to go to trial. I'm sorry. That was absolutely a BS, total BS case, defamation case. I couldn't believe that any judge ever allowed that. And of course, the public is very much turned against her and calling her a liar, blah, 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 blah. Of course, they didn't hear all the evidence. And I'm hoping when she appeals that the higher courts, or even this court, will just throw it out. Or at the very most, give him $1. Just reduce it down to $1. Because that's more than he's worth anyway. Let's face it, he isn't worth a plug nickel as far as I'm concerned. So that's what I have to say about that. Yeah, it's chilling because it's saying you can't believe women anymore and all this other stuff. And it's just a bad It just was. It was a frivolous suit. It should never have been allowed to go to trial. I mean, it could have been filed, but never. No judge should have allowed that to go. And then I saw this. Let's see if I can get it, because I'm doing this in a different part of the house. Oh, geez. And this, of course, is about. This was in the NYT. Well, duh. Well, duh. What do you think it means for women's elite sports? It means that women's sports, elite or not, are no longer going to be allowed to exist. That's what it means. And this is a long-winded article trying to present, like, thinking there's two sides to this. There isn't two sides to this. It's saying you either support the existence of women's sports or you support the right of cheating males to get into women's sports and beat the hell out of women. We all know what it means, okay? And these gender identity nitwits want to believe that there are no differences between the sexes. Well, then how, if there's no such thing as sex, then why are you trying to identify as something that doesn't exist? It's bullshit. Okay, it's total bullshit. Complete and total bullshit. And then Karen Davis talked a little bit, and I don't have the article and stuff, or articles that have been paraded around in right-wing media, but it was about the USDA engaging in blackmail with the states, saying that we're not going to get you title funds if in your schools for free and reduced lunch if you don't allow perverted kids or screwed up kids to use the wrong sex bathroom and wrong sex sports. And given that so much of the publicity here is in right-wing media, and they're going around, publications like the Federalist are going around calling public schools government schools, like they're trying to claim they're communistic and all this other bullshit. I'm going to wait and see what the mainstream media does, if they say anything. But some states are, of course they're red states, are trying to push back on it. But actually they're suing Biden over the Title IX edict anyway. And that's going to take probably forever to go through the courts. But when they start attacking public ed, and they say, pull your kids out, and of course private schools are probably even more infested with it, especially the non-religious private schools, especially the East Coast schools. They're really steeped in this GI garbage. But what they're really pushing is homeschooling, which is an oxymoron. Parents are not qualified. They're not qualified to teach kids unless they have a degree. They've actually been trained, because it does require a lot of training to be able to impart subject matter, not just read from a script or take a canned curriculum and stick it in front of your kid and say, here it is, or go on the computer and look it up. There's a hell of a lot involved. And I have worked in the schools for a long time, both public and private, and I have seen how the kids who were homeschooled, how they are when they come back in. And they need a lot of work on socialization. They need a hell of a lot of work to get acclimated back to it. You can't isolate your kids from the insanity that's going on in the world. They're going to have to confront it sooner or later. But more to the point, I'm against this push because of the real agenda behind it, and that is to tie women closer to the home. And as I have been thinking about this, that's really the point of the homeschooling movement. It isn't about the kids. Hey, it ain't about God. It isn't about the kids. It isn't about what's best for the kids. This is about tying women to the home. This is a scheme to get them back into the home, and then you've got the anti-abortion stuff. Goes together like bacon and eggs. Get them right back in to the home where they belong. That's their career. That's, I mean, And women will defend that and say, well, that, I worked all those years, blah, 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 blah. No, our society, and it never will value that so-called work in the home for free. They will never put a monetary value on it. It's considered voluntary unemployment. And frankly, women who, mothers, whatever, who have paying jobs and do that in the home, are they going to get compensated too? Are they going to get higher Social Security too? And why should I, as a never married single woman, subsidize somebody who's well-to-do that gets even more for sleeping with a man? Gets more Social Security. Oh my God. Don't even get me started on that. I have a niece who worked in low-paid jobs all her life. And when she's fully eligible, see, she has the option to go on hers or disability, as it is this, or her late husband's. And her late husband didn't retire till he was 70. So he got somewhere around $2,000 a month. I don't even get $800 a month. I get like $729 a month. Of course, I took it early because I had to. I worked all my fucking life for $729 a month. And somebody who just lives with a guy or sleeps with a man gets $2,000 a month. You tell me how the hell fair that is. So don't come crying to me about caregiver credit. Don't come crying to me about it. Because you don't have any idea how poor we are. And it's single people who get the shaft in the Social Security system. Absolutely get the shaft. And it's to force women. It's another way to force women especially into marriage. And income tax is another. But Social Security is the hardest, the most difficult. And as we know, it was created originally for widows and their dependents. That's what it was originally, back in 1936 or 1935. I think 1935. So, anyway, that's my rant about that. So, it's kind of a, going from Liar Thomas to Social Security. Yeah, that's quite a leap. But they're not going to, the thing is, he's going to keep pushing the envelope. These guys always keep pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope. Until, at some point, people say enough is enough. And this guy will probably go into the Olympics. And the women will just say, oh, it's so unfair. Oh, it's so unfair. Oh, I can't walk. And you have to do that. You have to boycott it. And women find every goddamn excuse, every kind of chicken shit excuse not to do anything. Anyway, so that's enough of the rants for Sunday. And yeah, I haven't been doing much on this thing because I'm getting ready for the end of the year, end of the school year, and I've been so depressed about the dog, and then depressed about that guy whose grave I'm going to go visit. I believe I'm going to go visit if the gas prices don't kill me off and all that. And again, get back to the gas prices. Biden better do something about that. Something needs to be done about that. Not just let these people keep gouging and gouging and gouging as a run-up to the election and make the public angry. Because they're not going to give a shit about this. I mean, a few people will. A few women, especially, they'll give a shit about that. But what's going to drive this thing is that damn inflation and that damn gas prices. So he better get on the stick. Not be pandering about USDA and their little queer theory shit. Keep that out. But actually do something about this insane inflation. And especially at the pump. So, anyway, that's 15 minutes of blather. And I am done.